Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Toyota Gazoo Racing Season 3, Race 3, coming to you live from Batu Kawan, Pinang. It is a beautiful Saturday on the 15th of February 2020. However, the racetrack is now drenched and wet. Sunny days are no longer here to stay, Victor. I am Nick Harris, your commentator. With me today, Victor Ang, your co-commentator, and this is the track we're going to be racing on.
Yep, and it's a very, very wet track right now. So earlier on I said it didn't look like torrential downpour. Well, it certainly is right now. We're going to be starting under the safety car procedure, naturally due to concerns about the track condition. So what that means is that the safety car will be accompanying the cars out on track, and they will be ensuring that the track is safe to race on. We're going to be watching some of the highlights here from qualifying, where we did see in the promotional class Sean Lee take his another pole position here, this time in round number 3, absolutely showing his dominance over the promotional class. But not too far behind him was Nabil Ahmad, who was able to score a 117.6, putting him within half a second of Sean Lee's time. However, the qualifying session was marked somewhat by Kai Bahar, who ended up getting a little bit of a love tap off the exit of the final turn. And we did see Nabil Ahmad pull off an astonishing lap there, so putting him right between the two title contenders, Sean Lee and Shukri Yahya. So Nabila Razali will be the best of the ladies so far in this promotional class, having set a 117.727. And we did see as well drivers Shafiq Kyle actually crash out at the end of qualifying there, which expressed me some concerns of whether or not he could actually make it for the race. I'm pleased to say that they are having some contingency plans. It seems like Shafiq Kyle will have the option of maybe using his spare car if they're not able to turn around his car in time. I did manage to have a look at it in the workshop, and I have to say, Nick, it still seems like there might be a chance that he will come back for race number 1.
Hopefully there could be a possibility for Shafiq Kyle to be back in action, but I mean, it can go any other way, considering that the track right now is wet with rain. It's going to be 20 laps, and safety car is out. They're going through the safety car procedure right now, going for the pace lap. Hopefully we won't see any issues with slips and slides, and hopefully we won't see any collisions that may be detrimental towards the overall race for all these drivers.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that a safety car procedure will help do is to ensure that they will know how the track condition is. But here is a starting grid you have right now. Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad in the first row. Shuki Yahya, Nabila Razali in P3 and 4. That's going to fill up row number 2. Wani Hasrita and Jana Nick will take up row 3. So it's a lockout here for the two ladies. Kai Bahar, who had a little tap there, will be starting in P7. That's on row 4, alongside Chief Motorsport Officer of UMW Toyota, Akio Takayama, will be in P8. Dinah Danielle, Shafiq Kyle, and Ayn Edrus will fill up the rest of the grid here in rows 5 and 6.
11 cars in the grid. I believe that this is the second most cars in the grid. The sporting class was the one with the most cars, I think with 16 to 17 cars. So this is going to be interesting to see how these celebrities as well are going to be handling the adverse conditions of the track, and how they're going to be handling the narrow spaces that do not provide much opportunities for them to overtake. Will Nabil Ahmad still be able to steal it away from Sean Lee now that he came so close to dethroning Sean Lee's pole position time? This could be an opportunity for him to steal it away from Sean Lee, as we see right now that it's still going to be under safety car procedure here. We are going to be seeing whether or not the racetrack is a conducive element towards a safe and controlled race. So remember, safety is paramount. With a track that is wet like this, it can be very, very dangerous, not just for the drivers, but the marshals and the audience at large. So this is going to be a very, very interesting event here. As we can see already, the shine on the track is definitely there because of the dampness. So we are going to be going for another safety car lap here. So I'm pretty interested to see how this is going to affect the start for these drivers.
I mean, it could be a rolling start actually if they wanted to, because a standing start I think might be a bit risky and probably quite a bit difficult as well given the wet condition of the track. You can see plenty of standing water on the side there that is looking like a pretty devious trap actually on this particular racetrack. But for sure, the safety car procedure has the added benefit of allowing the drivers to make their own judgments about the track, its conditions, and where they have to modify their braking and turning in points. Because there's a lot of standing water I can see on some of the exits and also on some of the entries of these corners, particularly the final corner there where the manhole was. That has been a place that's claimed quite a few drivers here today, and it could be even more after this race if the drivers are not able to keep their lines tight enough to avoid that particular manhole, because there's a lot of standing water in there. So certainly aquaplaning will be a very high possibility, especially if you're entering a corner at such high speeds. So down the chicane as well, I think it's not it's going to be a place where the drivers will have to watch out for whenever their weight shifts around coming into the next turn after that, turns 7 and 8, because it's going to be a really hard right-hand turn. So it's definitely a place they have to be careful on, especially now that the track is completely wet. It is still raining on this track right now in Batu Kawan. We are currently starting the race under safety car, so there's 19 laps to go, as we have already completed about a few laps now of this safety car lap. But when will the race start? That still remains to be seen.
Well, it might be a rolling start here. They might actually just, as my co-commentator Victor pointed out, might have a rolling start, considering a static start could be a huge problem, which may cause some of the tires to like overspin a little bit, considering that the friction is not there. So it could actually be a huge problem in terms of maybe causing any like unintentional collisions or unintentional stoppages that could actually put the racers in a little bit of danger or could jeopardize some of the racers' position. So this is going to be interesting to see how the rolling start is going to affect some of these drivers, because drivers like Sean Lee, Nabil Ahmad, Shukri Aya, they could actually overtake each other if they time their rolling start right.
Yeah, and you know, to add to that fact as well, you know, this isn't their first rodeo. They have raced in the wet before, so they know what to expect, especially when it comes to the other drivers around them. The only question is going to be the battle between them and the actual track itself. Can they still maintain good times even when conditions are this bad? Can they actually handle some of the changing conditions like standing water or whatnot on the track? So these kind of factors, you know, all come together in order to make the perfect racing driver, and this is what every single one who has been out on track today aspires to be. You know, they want to be the fastest out here, and they can do that no matter whether the track is wet or dry.
Yes, and looking at how some of these drivers are actually approaching some of the corners here, safety is definitely something that they are concerned about. And also another thing I'm really concerned about is the speed at which some of these drivers are taking some of these corners. So just to be wary of collisions, this could actually happen whereby some drivers take it at a high speed, and once they break the brake, the tires lock, or excuse me, it starts to skid a little bit too much and they lose control, and that's where a little bit of danger comes in, because some of the turns, like how my co-commentator Victor pointed out, causes a little bit of a skid, a little bit of a slide when they exit.
At very least a little bit of instability.
Yeah,
because
yes,
of the bumpiness. Yeah, that's certainly a factor here. So certainly the drivers who cannot take the corners as hard or as fast as they want to, they have to judge very carefully based on the dampness of the track, the lack of traction now that the surface is now moist and full of standing water. So certainly they will have to adjust the way that they approach some of these corners. Particularly, I think the turns 3 and 4, which has one of the major like weight shifts that happen on the car. Shifting suddenly from a right-hand turn to a left. It's a lot of force that you have to contend with whenever you're navigating through those two turns. So for these drivers here, it's going to be a test to see whatever skills they've picked up. Having raced 2 rounds already of this Toyota Vios Challenge. Do they already have the skills, the confidence that's necessary for them to be able to pull off an amazing result here in their first promotional race over here in Stadium Batu Kawan?
Well, as you said beforehand, Stadium Batu Kawan is going to be very, very, very interesting to see how some of these drivers are going to be adapting towards the changing conditions of the track. However, I do believe that with these kind of track conditions, right, it actually allows some of these drivers to overcome their own personal fear and adversity, and they're able to actually just perform better. For some people, it doesn't work out. For some people, they tend to they fall under the pressure. But who knows? Maybe from this challenge that is presented to them, this may actually make them drive in a more cleaner fashion. Is that a word? Is that a way to say it?
I certainly can see your point. Putting themselves into this really tough situation, even for a professional racing driver, certainly will allow the cream of the crop to rise to the top. And certainly, this is going to add a lot of pressure to some of the front runners here today, which is Sean Lee, Nabil Ahmad, and Shukri Yahya, because these guys, they not only have to contend with the fact that their track is not ideal, they also contend with the fact they have other people behind them ready to take them on the moment they slip up and make a mistake. And particularly, mistakes are going to be very easy to make here, especially when the track is this wet. However, just looking at the sky right now, it seems like the track is slowly starting to dry up. We're seeing a little bit of sun starting to come out now, so perhaps this is going to even change the condition further. We might see a slowly drying track, and this could be ideal.
Alright, so as the track conditions improve, there could be a possibility that some of these drivers may actually be able to, as the track conditions improve, they may actually get the standing start, but we have to wait and see what is what kind of information that is going to be conveyed from the race director towards the racers, and we shall see how that is going to affect the end result of this promotional matchup. Remember, 4 laps have been completed thus far already. We've got another
Another 16.
16.
Yep.
20 laps. We've got 20 laps in total. 4 laps have been done. 16 laps to go thus far here. Coming in to the Batu Kawan race here in Penang for the Toyota Gazoo Racing Season 3 Race 3.
Some good news for you guys. Safety car will be pitting at the end of this lap, so it looks like the race will be underway. I just wanted to have a quick highlight on the battles that we have to watch out for this race. For Sean Lee, it's mostly going to be a battle between him and Shukri Yahya, even though Sean is actually leading in the double digits ahead of Shukri. If he makes a mistake here, he could potentially lose out on a lot of points, and that might allow Shukri to actually make his way up to the top. But a 3-way battle is certainly up for grabs here. Nabila Razali, Juan Hasrita, and Nabil Ahmad are very close in points, so anyone who has a strong finish here is going to be able to take 3rd place in the championship, and it looks very likely if Nabil Ahmad can keep P2 that he will be the man to get up into 3rd. But the safety car will be coming in very, very shortly. There's still only a handful of corners left.
Yes, and that could be a very interesting turn of events here. 15 laps to go. Safety car already most probably going to enter the pit at the end of this lap. So that's going to be where all the fighting is going to start out.
Yep, so they will be rounding around to the pit lane entry soon. So the safety car will be pitting here, and that's going to unleash the 11 beasts that are out on track. Leading the train is going to be Sean Lee. Following behind him is Nabil Ahmad, and right behind him as well is Shukri Yahya, followed by Nabila Razali, Wani Hasrita, Jana Nick, Kai Bahar, Akio Takayama, Diana Danielle, Shafiq Kyle, and Ein Edrus. They round up towards the final corner. It's going to be pedal to the metal. Here we go. Race number 1 of the promotional class. It's going to be a rolling start here. Sean Lee still maintaining the lead, but Nabil Ahmad is very, very close by. Ooh, a bit of a danger zone there for Sean Lee. He almost lost control, but just barely held it together to stay in P1. He is going to be facing a lot of pressure from Nabil Ahmad, though. He knows that Sean Lee is wounded and weak, and he might try to go for the attack here. Coming into turn 3, the bump indicates where they're going to be turning in here. All 11 cars coming in one after another. Let's see how the battle unfolds on the front. A little bit slippy and slidey there for those right behind. Nabil Ahmad, Shruki Yahya, Nabila Razali still maintain their position so far. No changes up in the front as Sean Lee leads the entire pack of cars into towards turn 6. The chicane here before coming into turn 7 and 8. The double turn, a double heartbreak for some people here. But for now, it looks like Sean Lee, Nabil Ahmad, and Shruki Yahya, they navigate through it well enough. Sean Lee still maintaining in front. He's still able to keep his car controlled together, even though that little slip out there at turn 1 hasn't quite dampened his spirit, though, as he rounds up towards the final few corners, coming around towards the back straight now. It's going to be one more corner to go before he completes that first lap.
As we see here right now, 14 laps to go here. Coming in, Sean Lee will be holding on. A little bit of a scare just now early on in the first few laps, whereby Sean Lee almost lost control with Nabil Ahmad trying to take advantage of that situation. We do see behind him Shukri Yahya as well as Nabila Razali and Wani Hasrita will be the 5 drivers that are going to be making up the top 5 of this race. Jana Nick, Kai Baha, Akio Takayama, Diana Danielle, Shafiq Kyle, and Ein Idris will be making the bottom half of this race grid. As we do see right now, they're not attacking some of these corners as fast as they did when they were on a dry track, and this is mainly because that they do not want to oversteer or put themselves in a situation where they lose out on so much.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that with the current conditions of the track, we're seeing an average of about 24, maybe 25 seconds between all of the drivers here. So we're definitely seeing a sharp decrease in the lap times, but that doesn't mean the racing is any less furious here, because Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad, they're still very close to each other. They were about 0.7 seconds last time they went across the line. Let's see what the gap will be like when they come across the line here again in their second lap here. But the battle for first position is definitely still underway. It's a 3-way battle between Sean, Nabil, and Shukri as they come across the line now. Sean leading in front, Nabil and Ahmad leading, following very closely behind. Shruki Yahya following in third as it comes around towards turns 1 and 2. This was where Sean almost lost control, but looks like he's able to keep it together this time around. But not so fortunate there for Nabil Ahmad, though. It looks like he's slowly starting to slip back a little bit in its pace, and it's actually giving an opportunity here for Shukri to have a look on the inside. Shukri doesn't take the bait, though. There's no gap at all that Nabil Ahmad has left them through turn 3. Now they will come out towards turn 4. Will they lose control? No, they will not. They will stick very closely to the line and stick almost to that wall.
As we do see that coming in pretty close towards the wall here as they go for 12 more laps. It's lap number 8 here, 20 laps in total, as we do see that these drivers are going to be holding on towards their positions as much as they can. No changes thus far. I think only between Diana Danielle and Akio Takayama. Those were the only significant changes thus far. But in terms of positions 1 to 7.
Oh no!
No! Whoa!
Whoa!
We've
Wait.
got a wild tire on the loose, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody stop that tire!
Stop!
Oh, it's
no.
still going.
It's still going.
It's
Whose
still
tire
going.
is it? Wait, whose tire is
Who's
it?
the tire? Whose wild tire is this? What's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an interloper on the track right now. A random tire has just appeared, and we have no idea who it belongs to. Can somebody tell me, where did this tire come from?
We have a wild tire on the loose here, and I think this is the most. I think this is the most off the wall incident that happened for the entirety of our 6 heats of races, or 3 heats of qualifying and 3 heats of races. that we've commentated, and this is just wild.
I know. It's unbelievable. Like, whose tire is it? I don't think anyone's tire.
No
actually
one is
fell off
out,
here.
so
No one's
where
out.
did the tire come from?
I have no idea.
That is the greatest mystery. We will find that out soon.
Somebody call Nancy Drew on the case.
Yes, okay, anyway, all jokes aside here, let's get back to some serious commentary. Sean Lee is still maintaining quite a sizable lead against Nabil Ahmad. Nabil Ahmad, jokes aside here, looking towards pressing onto Sean Lee, but Shukri Yahya returning a little bit of the pressure towards Nabil Ahmad. And it seems that Nabil Ahmad will be on the receiving end of this pressure, where Sean Lee will be able to take the lead with not a single worry in his rearview mirror.
Well, I have to say, guys, the average times are starting to increase now, so definitely the track conditions are starting to become more and more green as time goes on. We could be seeing a dry condition here towards the end of the race if the rain does not continue. So the thing is that things are definitely heating up here for Nabil Ahmad and Shukri Yahya, because these two guys are battling very, very hard. And oh, okay, I see the car that is outside right now. Can't quite make out the number though, but maybe that might explain where the heck that mystery tire came from. So looks like one of our drivers here is out of the race, and it could be Ayn Edrus. She hasn't come into the start-finish line yet, so she could be out of this race.
Rather unfortunate, and it seems that we have got an update. It was Ayn Idris the culprit. As you can see, some of the medical staff took out their phones and started recording and had a funny, good laugh there. But thankfully, it means that Ayn Idris is not hurt or nothing significant in ways of her, physical well-being is in danger. But somebody check out that tire, though. I'm pretty sure that tire is scared being there.
Well, fortunately, it's like off the racing line there, so
luckily enough.
Yeah, luckily enough. So I think it's only going to be a hazard if someone decides to go for a sudden dive towards there. But if they do so, they have to be very, very brave, I have to say.
I don't think that should be the case, considering that the racing line is on the inside. So I feel that because the tire is on the left side of the track there, as you can see on your screen, I feel that it's not going to pose that much of a threat. So I believe that the race director as well thinks the same way too. So I feel that it's not going to be an issue that requires a red flag or a safety car to come out.
I mean, it will still be good to have someone to get it out of the way, because it still presents an obstruction there. And I can imagine like someone who will want to try to take the inside line going to turn 3. But again, they have to be really, really brave to try to do a move like that, because one small mistake, both cars will end up in the wall. But for now, though, I think in terms of battles, we're only seeing really the one between Nabil Ahmad and Shukri Yahya. The two of them are close enough to the point that we could potentially see them make a move. And oh, it looks like Shukri Yahya almost had a look on the inside there. He had to back up in the last second there, and that unfortunately has opened the door here for Nabil Ahmad to start to build a gap between him and Shukri.
Alright, so as we do see the gap right now, getting further and further away from Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad, but Shukri right now trying to close the gap between himself and Nabil Ahmad. But it seems that Nabil Ahmad was able to get a considerable amount of lead there over Shukri Yahya. So this could be a very huge problem here for the side of Shukri Yahya if he wants to try to score that second place position.
That's right. So for now, Sean Lee is still very much comfortably in the lead. 1.5 seconds. It's not quite the lead that we saw with Tengku Jan in the super sporting class, but it's still a significant lead nevertheless. So behind Sean Lee, Nabil Ahmad is currently free of his troubles, free of the pressure there that Shukri Yahya had been putting on him over the entirety of the first half of this race. So with a little bit of gap there, that's going to allow Nabil Ahmad some room to breathe here, as well as to regroup for his battle that's potentially going to be coming between him and Sean Lee, as Shukri Yahya severely dropped off the pace. I have to say, though, his last lap was a 1:24, 2 seconds slower than Nabil Ahmad at the moment, so certainly he's starting to ease off a little bit.
Well, hopefully the ease off will actually allow him to slowly get a little bit more confidence, but judging that not much time is left, this could be a big problem if he decides to just play it really conservatively. He won't be able to improve his position which I feel that, I mean, great you're not risking anything, but at the same time, not so great you're not risking anything as well, right? So, I mean, if you want to win, you got to risk it all, but at the same time as well, it's got to be a calculated risk. So I do believe that with the with the changes of conditions for the track here, more and more of the drivers tend to play a little bit safer, but we do see that since the track has dried up just a little bit, more of the drivers are playing it a little bit more aggressively as they reach the final 7 laps.
So speaking of driving, playing it aggressively, Shukuyaya has just set the fastest lap time of this session so far, 121.9. So we're slowly seeing these drivers starting to increase their time as they get acclimated to the track and as the track is starting to clear up. However, there's still a lot of standing water in some points though, so it's not a 100% green track, but it's certainly dry enough that some of these drivers can start to push their speeds through some of these sections here, particularly Sector 1. Now, the thing is that in terms of the positions right now, I believe Diana Danielle actually fell a few places there, having started at P7. She's now down into P8. Then I think Akio Takayama as well has dropped all the way down towards P9 right now, which is a big, like, 4-place drop off there. I wonder what happened to his race actually throughout. But in terms of the rest of the grid here, Nabila Razali is still ahead of Wani Hasrita. Jana Nick is literally right up behind him, having moved up a couple of places thanks to the mistakes from Akio and Diana. But Shafiq Kal is still going to be on the back of Akio Takayama, so Ayn Edrus going to be retired from this race, unfortunately. I don't think we have any footage about what exactly happened, but if I were to make a guess, probably she must have collided with the wall there because she lost an entire tire there.
It must have been a considerably high impact if it were to dislodge the tire, innit?
Yeah, I mean, we did see that in the super sporting class, if I remember right. So the thing is that impacts like that, where it just completely tears the tire off, I mean, it's not unusual, to say the least, especially if the rim got damaged. But certainly, it's we're definitely going to be thankful that Ayn Edrus sustained no injuries from that little incident there. But she, unfortunately, will have to sit out the rest of race number 1.
Yes, as we do see right now, final 6 laps to go. Our final race of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to give your support to all your favorite celebrities who are racing in this race here today. In this class here for the final race of the day. So we got 5 more laps to go. Sean Lee is still trailing ahead with Nabil Ahmad not too far behind him and Shukri Yahya as well in terms of time. Let's take a look at the time and break it down. It seems that Sean Lee will be... No, actually no, it's not Sean Lee.
What?
I don't think it's Sean... Oh yeah, it is Sean Lee.
It is Sean Lee.
Sean Lee has the best time thus far. Followed behind is going to be Shukri Yahya, and not too far behind him as well is going to be Nabil Ahmad in terms of best timing thus far.
I wanted to point out a funny observation here. Like, Sean Lee is carrying 30 kilograms. He's currently in P1. Nabil Ahmad is carrying 25 kilograms. He's in P2. Shukri Yahya is in P3, and he has 20 kilograms. So it seems like the more weight you put on these guys, the higher they end up finishing in order.
I think it just goes to show that once you have a very strong technical basis, strong technical foundation, like someone like Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad has, regardless of how much weight you put in, if you know where the brake lines are, if you know where the race lines are, if you know where to accelerate, decelerate, where to shift those gears, you will be able to maximize your acceleration and you'll be able to hit some of your top speeds, and yeah, that's just efficient driving. So, I mean, on a technical level, Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad, they were able to maintain their top spot solely because of their technical understanding, their technical knowledge, and how technical they are when they're on the road. So I think they're hitting some of the right gear shifts, they're hitting some of the right brake turn, they're hitting some of the right brakes, and they're accelerating at all the right spots. So I think that's the reason why you see some of these drivers, regardless of how much weight you can have, you can put an elephant in Sean Lee's car and he'll still smoke you. he will still smoke you with his technical driving.
I'm pretty sure if you put an elephant in Sean Lee's car, he wouldn't be finishing in P1. But jokes aside, though, it looks like things are starting to heat up for the battle for P2. I think I see Shuki Yahya already caught up now to Nabil Aban. It's starting to put the pressure onto him as it comes through chicanes. So we could be seeing a final lap heat here between Nabil Aban and Shuki Yahya. This is going to be the battle for second. No! No! Looks like Shuki Yahya has just hit the wall. Hopefully it didn't sustain too much damage, but that definitely has put a damper in his efforts to catch up to Nabil Aban. It's only going to be time to tell whether or not he will be able to continue to race, but it seems like he's able to roll away, so hopefully nothing is wrong with the alignment on his car. Let's have a look at the replay here. We see Sean Lee clear the corner very well, as well together with Nabil Ahmad and Shuki Yahya. Just a little bit too hard on the exit there. Caught a little bit of understeer and unfortunately found himself up against the wall. He is still going to be able to stay in P3 though, but with that little bit of damage sustained, I don't think his battle for P2 will be able to continue under these circumstances.
Well, like I said, that is going to be rather detrimental to Shuki Yahya, but not to a point where he loses out on this position. We got 3 laps to go. Could be that I spoke too soon because anything could happen. We did see that drivers in position 1 or 2 or 3, they just lose out mainly because of one small mistake. Shukri Yahya was lucky enough, he got out of that incident with just a slap on the wrist.
And the thing is that now that Nabil Ahmad has no pressure from Shukri Yahya, he's starting to make the moves onto Sean Lee. Look at how close he's following him through the last few corners. He's going to be keeping close with him throughout Sector 2 as well. So perhaps we will see a final lap battle here between these top 3 cars. Who will be able to come out on top? Will Sean Lee still be able to stay ahead of the 2 contenders here? Or will Nabil Ahmad pull a shock victory over Sean Lee in a promotional class? We will find out in 3 more laps.
Alright, as I do see how this is going to be working out for Sean Lee, I don't see how Nabil Ahmad is trying his best, I don't see how Nabil Ahmad will be able to get across that wall that Sean Lee has built up, but we do see that Nabil Ahmad looking towards poking the advance here, prodding his way towards Sean Lee, trying to look for a little bit of weakness here between himself and Sean Lee. However, we do see Sean Lee right now running a very tight ship for the last 2 laps. He is holding on to that lead with a very tight grip, and I doubt that he's going to let it go anytime soon within these 2 laps, unless a huge mistake happens for the side of Sean Lee.
And this is going to be a big test for Sean Lee, you know, because the thing is, it's one thing to be a very fast driver in qualifying. It's entirely another to be able to hold back someone who is faster than you, who is literally right up in your tail. And that's what Sean Lee will have to do for the next 2 laps. Otherwise, he could potentially lose the win here in race number 1, as Nabil Ahmad is continuing to give so much pressure to him coming into Sector 2. They will be rounding up towards the final few corners now, and after that, it will be the final lap.
Right, as we do see it, final lap is almost underway here, as we do see that the racers right now looking towards trying to get some kind of an advance, some kind of advantage here, but it doesn't seem to be the case, as Nabil Ahmad is shut down every time he tries to come close to Sean Lee. Sean Lee right now using the tightness of the track to deny whatever advance that Nabil Ahmad is trying to muster up against him. So this is going to be a problem for Nabil Ahmad. Shukri Yahya as well, giving up the pressure here. So Nabil Ahmad in between here. He's trying to be defensive and offensive at the same time. It is going to be a 3-way battle here for first place between Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad, and second place for Nabil Ahmad and Shukri Yahya.
So here's the thing, Sean Lee has decided that his best defense here against creeping Nabil Ahmad is to basically just go faster. He's just set the fastest lap of the session so far, a 120.656. So he's definitely stepping up to the challenge here that Nabil Ahmad is presenting to him. But also off note here is Shukri Yahya. He's still able to keep up with a 120.9. So certainly that little tap there that he suffered has not actually affected his performance at all. So we can can see that now he's already caught up to Nabil Ahmad. Maybe he might be making a move here on the final lap, but the thing is, the final corner will be coming up. There's no mistakes at all here from any of these drivers. Sean Lee will be rounding up towards the final corner. And onto the start-finish line, the checkered flag is out. Sean wins it. Nabil Ahmad in second, and Shukri Yahya takes third.
Sean Lee, Nabil Ahmad, and Shukri Yahya will be making the top 3 of our winners podium here today, followed by Nabila Razali, 3 seconds away here, not too far behind as well. Coming off from that final turn is going to be Wani Hasrita, as well as Jana Nick, that's not too far behind as well. We do see that all of these drivers right now are going to be crossing across the checkered flag right here. Jana Nick, Kai Baha, Diana Danielle, all 3 of them came in all roughly at the same time. Akio Takeyama is going to be next up to go cross through that finish line, as well as Shafiq Kyle. So ladies and gentlemen, your winner and the best lap of the entire... Excuse me, no, he didn't have the best lap.
No, he didn't have the best lap.
He didn't have the best lap.
He got beaten to the punch.
He got beaten to the punch here. So Sean Lee is the winner, despite the fact that he's the winner. Nabil Ahmad will definitely walk away with the best lap prize, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it's Shukri Yahya.
Shukri Yahya got the fastest lap here in the session, so he probably will be happy with that. At least he's shown that, you know, despite the little mistakes there, he's still able to keep up his pace and performance. So huge credit to these 3 guys though, because here's the thing, Nabila Razali, who finished in 4th, she finished 16 seconds behind the 3 of them. So this goes to show how much pace difference is there even within the promotional class itself.
Yes, and I do believe that the talent that is on display here can definitely be molded into potential professional drivers here. I do believe that Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad have the most potential. However, they need a lot of work if they want to be entering into that sporting class. But I do believe that with the right kind of training and the consistency that is being shown by someone like Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad, I do believe that there is a strong possibility that for the next series, we might actually see people like Sean Lee and Nabil Ahmad go up a class.
Yeah, well, in any case, here is the results for the promotional race number 1 here at Stadium Batu Kawan, Penang. P1 is going to be held by Sean Lee, P2 by Nabil Ahmad, P3 by Shukri Yahya, P4 by Nabila Razali, P5 will be held by Wani Hasrita, P6 by Jana Nick, P7 by Kai Baha, P8 by Diana Danielle, P9 will be held by Akio Takeyama, and finally coming in P10 is Shafiq Kal, and the DNF unfortunately is on Ain Edrus.
Alright, as we come underway, this is it, your winner. Ladies and gentlemen, from promotional race, from the promotional series race number 1, Sean Lee, the big boxer, will walk away on first part in on the first place podium. Nabil Ahmad a close second, and not too far behind him is going to be a 3rd man on the podium, which is going to be Shukri Yahya. Big smiles there coming in from everyone involved here today. And a big smile there coming in from Shukri Yahya. Looks very much relieved as well. Looks like he can't wait to get out of his racing suit too.
I mean, for these 3 drivers there, you know, it may not look like it because there was a lack of overtaking action, but this has been one of the hardest races in their lives. Not only had to contend with the heat when it came to qualifying, they also had to contend with the wet when it came to the actual race here today. There's such the extremes, you know, of the conditions they have to face up over here. But definitely, Nabila Razali will still be happy with her result of P4. She is the best of the rest right now, and definitely going to be want to beat here if they want to take her championship place. But certainly, you know, it's been a fantastic race here today. 3 races, I should say, for this Saturday.
3 heats of qualifying, 3 races in total after the 3 heats. A total of 6 heats, 6 total race events here we've had today, including the qualifiers. I can't wait to see what tomorrow has to offer. My man, oh man, was it not, despite the fact there was a little bit of lack of action here, it was, at least there was a little bit of drama. We saw a little bit of a tire action here, a wild tire appearing onto the map, appearing onto the track. We saw Mirza that lost his lead due to some unforeseen circumstance. And even in the first race of the day as well, we saw one of the leaders be taken out of the race so ungraciously. But thankfully enough, we may see them again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed the action, these are the highlights as we talk a little bit about what happened. And there it is, that wild tire that came out of nowhere. And of course, Ain Idrus being escorted out of the track with medical personnel. But we do see that coming in for all these drivers, they did really well regardless of how hostile the track was for their driving experience. Yet we do see all of them with big smiles, big cheers, and not a single tear from each and every one of them, because they put in all the effort. They managed to conquer a very hostile track in the form of Batu Kawan in Penang. So it's definitely a cause of celebration regardless of whether you entered first or last. I mean, of course, entering first is always great, but the experience of finishing the race regardless of what position, seeing that checkered flag being waved, is definitely rewarding enough for everyone involved in the promotional series.
I mean, as they all say, you know, to finish first, you first have to finish.
Ah, okay, that was good. I was waiting for the punchline and I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are back to the sunny skies of Batu Kawan, Penang. Thank you very much for joining us. It has been a wonderful time, despite the fact that we all got a little bit wet, we all got a little bit hot, but it's all great because we've got more action for you guys tomorrow. So remember, we're all about the drive here at Batu Kawan, Penang for the Toyota Gazoo Racing Season 3, Race 3 here in Penang. We will see you tomorrow.